Hello, hi, let's discuss about network layer today. So when it comes to network layer, it is one of the important layer in TCP IP protocol. As you can see, the TCP IP protocol layer is divided into 5 layers, that is application layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer and physical layer. So when it comes to network layer, it deals with internet protocol. So what is Internet Protocol? Basically, it's a protocol which plays a major role in TCP IP architecture, and it's said to be as a cornerstone of TCP IP architecture. All the computers which are connected in internet need to understand this IP or IP address. So when it comes to Internet Protocol, currently we are using IP version 4, and it acts as a delivery mechanism when in TCP IP protocols. So when it comes to Internet Protocol, there are two types of version. Currently we are using version 4. In near future we will be using IP version 6. So when it comes to IP version 6, as you can see, the address space is large enough to incorporate all the devices. And in near future, when IoT is getting introduced, in all the aspect, as more of the devices are getting connected to internet, the address using IP version 4 won't be sufficient. So it is better to go for a higher version of address with large number of address space, and that can be achieved through IP version 6. When it comes to Internet Protocol, the protocol has its own feature. First, it's the connectionless protocol, and as you can see, connectionless protocol means there is no need for a connection to be established between the sender and the receiver. And the packets which are sent through these protocols are divided into fragments or smaller pieces whenever there is a necessary, when it has to route through smaller routes. And when it comes to the addressing scheme, it uses a 32-bit internet address. So this IP version 4 address is basically a 32-bit address that uniquely and universally defines the connection of a device. For example, what all devices you are getting connected to the internet, for example a router, a computer, any devices which are connected to the internet will be given this 32-bit IP address. And as I told you, it's a connectionless protocol. It contains no function for end-to-end reliability or flow control. So it happens that your packet moves on and it reaches the destination, or it doesn't guarantees that it may not reach even then also. So IP makes the best effort to forward packets to the next destination, but it does not guarantee delivery because it's a connectionless protocol. So when I talk about this protocol, there is some rule which has been followed. If a protocol uses n bit to define an address, the address space is defined as 2 raised to n, because each bit can have only two different values, either zeros and ones, and n bits can have 2 raised to n values. So in altogether, the address space of IP version 4 is 2 raised to 32, or we say 4,294,967,296 address in altogether, and that is huge enough to accommodate the current internet need. When it comes to IP version 4 address, they are being defined in 3 different notation. First is binary notation, then we have a dotted decimal notation, and then we have a hexadecimal notation. So going for binary notation, the address space is divided into octet, 4 different octets, each of 8 bits, as we call as 4 bytes, and each is represented in the forms of zeros and ones. Then comes dotted decimal notation. Each of this binary value is converted into decimal values, and they are separated by dots, and that becomes your dotted decimal IP address. So here is a representation of how your address, binary address, is actually converted into a decimal address. So initially you have the values of ones and zeros, and you have a binary bit values which is given here, So as you can see, each of these values are represented by octet bit values. So initially we have 1, that is 2 raised to 0. Then we have 2, that defines 2 raised to 1. Then we have 2 raised to 2. Then we have 2 raised to 3, that is 8. Then 2 raised to 4, that is 16, and it goes on till we have 2 raised to 7. So 2 raised to 0, 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to 3, 2 raised to 4, 2 raised to 5, 2 raised to 6, and 2 raised to 7. That gives the value 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64 and 128 respectively. So wherever there is 1, we represent that values as it is, and wherever 0, we represent it as 0. And in altogether that will be used as a conversion to convert the binary values into a dotted decimal address. Then comes the hexadecimal notation. Similar way as you have already learned to convert the binary value into a hexadecimal notation. So you just need to do a conversion of the values, and in front you are going to just add 0 and x. So this defines that it's a hexadecimal binary address value. So there here we will see some examples of how to identify or get the IP address. So for example, we have a dotted decimal notation here, and you can see this is being converted into binary decimal notation. Similar way you can find out there is a dotted decimal notation given, and you can convert each of these values back to the binary values by doing decimal to binary conversion. Then look at this particular address, that is 111.56.045.78, and it has been asked that if there is any error in this. And if you look at this third octet value or third byte, it is 045. As there is no leading 0 which is accepted in dotted decimal notation, this address is an error because 0 is not allowed in front of any numbers. Going for the next address, we have 221.34.7.8.20, and you can see here rather than 4 bytes we have 5 bytes. So we may say that we don't have any IP address which is having more than 4 byte or 4 bit. So 4 numbers are only allowed, not more than 4. The next example shows 75.45.301.14. Here you can find out that each of this address ranges from 0 to 255 value. So if I go for the first value, it should be ranged from 0 to 255, 0 to 255, 0 to 255, and this 0 to 255. But you can see here in this third byte the value exceeds 255. So you can say that C301 is outside this range. So here also this IP address is not a valid IP address. Going for the next example, you can see here is a binary value. Along with that there are some decimal values attached to it, and you can see it's a mixture of binary as well as dotted decimal notation. Even this sort of address is not allowed in IP version 4. So when you talk about this addressing scheme, each of this address space is divided into 5 class, or we call this division as classful addressing. In classful addressing, an IP address in class A, B or C is divided into net ID and host ID. And each of this class is divided into fixed number of blocks, with each block having a fixed size of host getting connected to it. So this way of dividing the class into 5 different classes is called as classful addressing. So you can easily make out what is class A. If you find the first bit as 0 as prefix, then you can say it's a class A address. If class B, then there is a prefix of 10. To identify class C, there is a prefix of 110, and to identify class D, it is having prefix of 1110, and class E has a prefix of 1111. And as you can see, each of these bits define the total number of address that can be used. So class A, it has n 8 bits initially, so that n 8 bits defines the net ID. Going for class B, it takes entire 16 bit altogether, so that defines the net ID. In class C, we take 3 bytes altogether, that is 24 bits, that defines the net ID. And D and E, they don't define any of the bits. Altogether, we totally use the entire 24 bit as it is. So going for class A, the initial bit starts from 0 to 127, so that is the decimal notation representation that defines as a class A address. Going for class B, it starts from decimal 128 to 191. Going for class C, it defines 192 to 223. Then 5 classes of IP address are further divided to make you understand. Like class A address, as I told you, the net ID then is, or the total number of hosts which can be connected with the class A address is some 167777216. That is 2 raised to 24 hosts can be connected. So that's a huge number. And total number of networks that can be formed with class A is 128. That is 2 raised to 7. As you can see here, the address is ranging from 0 to 127. But as you can see, the addresses which are beginning with 0 or 127, they are reserved for various function. Like you can see here, 127.0.0.1 is used as a local host addresses. Then there are class B addresses which can be used for large enterprises, where the first octet ranges from 128 to 191. So in all together, how many host or node can be connected is 65,536, and number of networks which can be formed is 16,384. When it go for class C address, it is used for small business purpose, and the octet ranges from 192 to 223. So the maximum number of hosts getting connected is 256, and the total number of network that can be formed is some 2097152. That is 2 raised to 21 networks, different networks can be used. Whereas class D is used as a multicast address, and the address ranges from 224 to 239, and class E is used for experimental purpose when they are going to use for some reserved function. So when your network is very large, or you have a very large number of hosts getting connected, you go for class A. If your business is small and you require around some 100 or 200 hosts to be connected, you will be using class C address. So when you talk about IP address, it is divided into class A, B, C, and each of this class A, B, C address is divided into two types, that is two divisions, that is net ID and host ID. So what is net ID? It's called network address. So the address of the network within the internet. So in order to identify the network within an internet, you will be identifying by using network address, and this address is used by gateways for routing the IP packets between the networks. Similar way, you have the host ID, or we call it as host address. This is the address of the computer within the network. So number of nodes which are getting connected in the particular network is defined as host ID or host address. So in order to deliver a packet to a particular network interface within the network, we will be using the host address. So as you can see in this diagram, we have a class A, that is net ID, and the other bits are represented as a host ID in class A address. In class B, we have first 2 byte used as a net ID and the rest 2 byte as host ID. In class C, we have first 3 bytes as net ID and the last byte as host ID. Class D altogether we are using as multicast address, and class E is reserved for future use. So how to find out class in a binary notation? So class A, if the first bit is 0, it defines it's a class A address. In class B, if the first bit is 10, it defines class B address. Class C, if the first value is 110, it defines it's a class C address. In class D, it defines 110, that defines class D. If the first value is 1111, then it defines it's a class E address. So when you want to say the number of address spaces in class A is some 2147483 So how will I prove that? So for example, as we have already seen, class A uses just one bit to represent it as a class A address. So that is 0. So as you can see, in class A only one bit defines the class. So altogether there are some 31 bits. Out of 32 bit address, there are 31 bits available for address. So with 31 bits we can have some 2 raised to 31 different addresses. So when we calculate 2 raised to 31, it gives you the total address that can be used in class A is 2147483 and 648. Now in case if the value is given in binary, you can easily find out what sort of address it is. So if you find out the first byte, if it is 0, then you can say it's a class A address. Going for the next example, you look at this example, you find the first value as 110. So this defines the first 2 bits are 1 and the third bit is 0. This defines it's a class C address. Now how to find the class in a decimal notation? So in order to find a class in decimal notation, we have to take care of this first byte. So if it's a class A, the first byte ranges from 0 to 127. If it is class B, it ranges from 128 to 191. Class C, it ranges from 192 to 223. Class D, it ranges from 224 to 239. And class E, it ranges from 242 to 55. So if the address is given in a decimal notation, you can easily make out which address it is. So 227, as you can see, 227 lies in class D. So we can say it lies in class D. Going for the next, here it is given 193.14.56.22. So as you can see, 193 lies between 192 to 223. So it's a class C address. So as you can see here, class A is divided into 128 blocks. So the first block ranges from 000 to some 0.255.255.255. So the last block of class A would be 127.0.0.0 as it ranges from 0 to 127, and the last address of that block would be 127.255.255.255. So you can see here each of this block will contain some 1677721 addresses altogether, and this can be assigned to your host. So each block, the first address basically is called the network address. So going for this class A address, as you can see, the addresses ranges from 000. So the first block will have address 000.0, 0.255.255.255, and then comes number of different other blocks, and the last block would range from 127.0.0.0, and the last address would be 127.255.255.255. So 128 blocks altogether, there would be 128 different blocks ranging from 0 to 127, and each of this block will have some 16.777.216 addresses in each of this blocks. So each of this block will have this much nodes which can be connected in the block. So going for one of the example of net ID 73. So net ID 73 will defines the network address as 73, and the number of hosts, that is some 16.777.216 address can be assigned to the number of hosts connected in the particular network. Going for the next address is class B. Class B is divided into some 16,384 blocks. So initially, as I told you, when you go for class B, you will be considering first 2 bytes. So that is 128.0.0.0, and the last address of the first block would be 128.0.255.255. Similarly, the last block of the class B address would be 191.255.0.0, and the last address of the last block of class B address would be 191.255.255.255, and each of this block will contain some 65,535 addresses, and would be a larger address space needed by most of the mid-sized organization. And each of this block, the first address is 180.8, so the first 2 byte is basically called the network address. So similar to your class A, we have also divided class B address. So you'll be considering the first 2 bytes. So here 128.0 defines net ID, 00 defines the host ID. So your first block would contain this address of 128.0.00. The last block, this address of this block would be 128.0.255.255. Similar way, the last address of the block would be 191.255.0.0, and the last address of this particular block 191.255.255.255. So totally there would be 16,384 blocks, as we are taking total 16 bits to represent the net ID, and there would be some 65,536 hosts which can be connected in each block. So we have 65,536 address in each block. So here, in order to represent any network, we will be considering the first 2 bytes, 180.8. So that would be my network address .00, and the number of hosts which are connected is 01, 02, and it goes on till 255.255. Similar way, class C address can be divided into some 2097.152 blocks. So first blocks, as you can see, first 3 bytes are considered here. So 192.0.0.0, and the last address of this block would be 128.0.0.255. The last block address would be 223.255.255.0, and the last address of this block would be 223.255.255.255, and each block can contain some 256 address. So small organization which has 200 hosts to be connected can use such block address. In each block, the first address, basically the first 3 byte represents the network address. So as we have seen already in class A, B and C, similar way here also we will be considering the first 3 bytes as net ID and the last byte as the host ID. And we have already seen that class D and class E address. So class D entire 32 bit would be taken as one block, and mostly it is used for multicasting, and each address is used to identify one multicasting group. So multicasting is basically sending the packets to the entire host connected in the network. So all the hosts connected in the network will receive the packets. The class E address is also considered as entire one block, and it is designed for some reserved addresses. So when you talk about the network addresses, basically it is the first address which is being used to identify a network, and it defines the network to the rest of the internet. So a router which is routing the packet will easily identify a network based upon the network address. So given a network address, we can also find the class of the address, the block of the address, and the range of the address in the block. So for example, here a network address is given 17.0.0.0, and you will be asked to find the class, the block and the range of the address. So here, by looking at this first byte, you can easily make out it's a class A address, and the block or the net ID of this address is 17, or network address is 17.0.0.0. Then how to find out the range of the address? Since it's a class A address, the range would be starting from 17.0.0.0, the last 3 bits, and the last address of this particular block would be 17.255.255.255. Going for this next example, a network address is given 132.21.0.0, and you have been asked to find the class, the block and the range of addresses. So looking at this first bit, it's 132. Now 132 lies between the value 128 and 191. So you can easily make out it's a class B address. So when it is class B address, we consider first 2 bytes. So first 2 byte defines the net ID here. So 132.21.0.0 would define the network address, and the range of the address would be 132.21.0.0 to 132.21.255.255. Given the network address, again an example like 220.34.76.0, find the class, the block and range of address. Looking at the first value, you can easily make out it's a class C address because it ranges between 192 to 223. So you can easily make out this first 3 bytes defines the net ID and the remaining 1 byte defines the host ID. So the range of addresses would be 220.34.76.0 ranging to 255. So as you can see here, the number of addresses in class A, B, C, D, E. In class A, the number of blocks which can be formed is 128, whereas the number of hosts or the block size would be some 16, 777, 216. And this all things, this is basically used for unicast routing. So what is unicast is basically you will be targeting one receiver machine and you would be sending the packet to one of the receiver, whereas multicast means where you are broadcasting the packet to the entire nodes connected in a network. So class B, again number of block is 16,384, whereas block size is 65,536. And similar way you have class C, D and E. So in this way of addressing, in classful addressing, you can find out a large part of the available address gets wasted. In case, for example, I am using class B address and my block size is some 65,536 and I don't have that much of host to be connected in class B address, so that much address gets wasted. So to overcome this address depletion and to give organization more access to the internet, we go for the next sort of addressing, that is called as classless addressing. So what is classless addressing? It's an improved way of IP addressing system that makes the allocation of IP address in a more efficient way. So it's also done by using a classless inter-domain routing mechanism or notation, which we are going to follow in classless addressing. So what is classless CIDR or classless inter-domain routing? It is a method that allows to use a prefix to designate the number of network bits in the mask. So for example, we have this address 200.15.1.53 and we have been using the CIDR notation, that is 25. So in this example, CIDR value /25 means that the first 25 bit in the mask are the network bit. So out of 32 bits, the first 25 bits would be used as net ID and the remaining bits would be used as the host ID. So that defines the CIDR notation. So in order to use the classless addressing, there are some 3 restrictions. So first, the address in a block must be contiguous, that is one after the another, and the number of address in a block must be in the power of 2, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and the first address must be evenly divisible by the number of addresses. So basically when you are using CIDR notation, you will be using masking. So what is mask? A mask is basically a 32-bit number in which n leftmost bits are 1 and 32 minus n rightmost bits are 0. So for example, in class A address, the bits used for subnet mask are given as 1111 and it is followed by 0. So the first byte is all denoted by ones and the remaining bits are denoted by 0. So when it comes to dotted decimal notation, we have 255.0.0.0. Similar way, class B, 2 bytes are used as are represented by all ones and the remaining 16 bits are represented by all zeros. So in dotted decimal notation, we have 255.255.0.0. Similar way, class C address, we have all the bytes as 1. So all the 16 for 8 bit as well as this 8 bit as well as this 8 bit will have some ones and the remaining 8 bit would contain 0. So we have 255.255.255.0. So what is basically a masking concept? So given any address in a block, you can apply the mask and you can do the AND operation and you can easily find out the beginning address by doing the operation. So how to do an AND operation in a mask? So you have any value address X and you have the mask value 1 and you do the AND operation, you will get the value X as it is. Similarly, if you have the mask value as 0 and you do the AND operation with address X, 0 with and would give you 0. So similar to what you have learnt in your earlier class, ones and ones will give ones, whereas 1 0 0 0 1 0 and 0 0 will give 0 in AND operations. So here's one example. For example, we'll see here, given an address is 23.56.7.91 and the default class is given as a mask. Find the beginning address. So as you know, the class A address mask is 255.0.0. So this shows that only the first byte is used to represent the net ID and the next 3 bits are used for the host addresses. So you can see here that only the first byte is preserved and the other 3 bytes are set to 0. So you can easily make out what is the first address or the network address by setting the first bit as it is and the remaining bits as or bytes as 0. Given an address is 201.180.56.5 and the class you will be using class C default mask. Find the beginning address or the network address. So default address for the class C default mask is 255.255.255. This shows that the first 3 bytes has to be preserved as it is when you do the AND operation and the last bit would be maintaining as 0. So the net ID or the beginning address or the network address would be 201.180.56.0. So when you talk, let's see another one example here. When you talk about any network, there are basically 2 networks addresses which are reserved. So first address, which we call as network address or network ID, and the last IP address is called as broadcast address. So what is broadcast address? It is used for a specific type of network traffic that is destined for every device attached to a network. So whenever I want to broadcast my data to the entire network, I'll be using broadcast address. So given any address that is 192.168.1.1 and since you can easily make out what sort of address it is by finding out the first byte, it is 192. So 192 falls under class C. So class C subnet mask is 255.255.255.0 and since the subnet mask is given, you can easily find out the first IP address or network ID. So by setting the last bit as 0, you get the network ID as 192.168.1.0, whereas the broadcast address would be 192.168.1 dot and the last bit would be the broadcast address, that is 255. So the remaining addresses in between these 2 network ID and broadcast ID would be used as usable IPs. So it is 192.168.1.1 and it ranges till 192.168.1.254. So when you talk about such addresses, as I have already told you about address depletion, as most of the addresses are getting wasted. As I have told you in class B, if the number of hosts will be more than 2 raised to 16 and the number of hosts may not be sufficient enough to accommodate class B address, so the problem is large number of hosts, it would be like large number of hosts in the network would be difficult to manage, and the performance of the network will also go down because of the heavy load. So better is we go for a single we go for a solution that is called subnetting. So what is subnetting? So subnetting is a concept where we divide any address into multiple different networks. So it's like, it means divide or separate a single network into multiple network. So why we do subnetting of the addresses? To reduce the traffic and to increase the performance, and as with smaller network it is easier to manage the network. So we'll see how it is done. So initially, as I have told you, the binary values represented has values ranging in the powers of 2, that is 2 raised to 0, 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to 4, 6 and 7, and the corresponding decimal values has been shown. This is used to represent in the subnetting concept. So initially, if I have the CIDR value as /8, /8 defines that my first byte, 8 bytes will have all ones and the remaining will have zeros. So when I say first bytes are 1, it means in decimal it is 255.0.0.0. Then going for the next, in case I am using CIDR notation /9, 9 denotes that my first 9 bits are used as net ID and the remaining bits are used as my host ID. So if I do the decimal conversion of this binary value, it will be giving me value 255.128.0.0. Similar fashion, if I go for the /10, then first 10 bits are my net ID and the remaining bits are my host ID. So if I do a decimal conversion of this value based upon this binary conversion to decimal conversion, it will be giving me value 255.192.0.0. and similar way you can easily make out or find out different values. So if I say /24, it means the first 24 bits are all ones and the remaining 8 bits are all zeros. If I say /29, it means the first 29 bits are all 1 and the remaining 3 bits are used as a host ID. So that would be, so my net mask would be 255.255.255.248. that is done by calculating the conversion of binary into decimal. So we'll see one example. Given an address is 20.10.30.35/27 and you have been asked find the range of the IP address in this particular block. So since the value is given as /27, it means the first 27 bits are used as the network ID and the remaining 5 bits, that is 32 minus 27, will be 5 bit that will be used as a host in a network. So I'll be converting this particular value into binary, and what I'll do is I will be using the IP address. So this the first IP address can basically be found out by setting zeros for the remaining 5 bits. So I'll do the decimal conversion. I'm getting 20.10.30.32, and the last IP address can be easily found out by representing by ones in all the remaining 5 bits. So I'll get my last IP address, that is a broadcast address 20.10.30.63. So the range of addresses which is there in this particular network would be 20.10.30.32 to 20.10.30.63. So how to do a subnetting? So we'll consider one example here. We have a single network which is having an IP address some 200.1.2.0, and we want to do subnetting, and I want to divide this network into 2 different subnets. So what I'll be doing is, I have a network, so I'll find out what sort of address it is. So since it's a class C address 200, so initially my first 3 bytes would be my net ID, that is 24-bit, and the remaining 8-bit would be my host ID. So in order to create 2 subnet, I require just 1 bit. So this 1 bit can be in the forms of zeros and ones. So that 1 bit I would be borrowing from the host ID. So now my net ID would be 25 bits and my host ID would be 7 bit, because I have borrowed one of the bit from the or I have given one of the bit to the net ID. So the borrowed bits are zeros and 1. So 0, it would represent the first subnet and the 1 would represent my second subnet. So the IP addresses or the range of this 2 subnet would be in the form of like 200.1.2. The first bit, because we have borrowed, that would be zeros, so all the remaining bits are 0. The second subnet would have 200.1.2.1 and the remaining zeros. So I'll be doing a binary conversion of this. So since it is 0, so it is going to be 200.1.2.0, and the second subnet has 1 here, so it is 2 raised to 7. So 2 raised to 7 is basically 128. So I have 200.1.2.128. So this is my single network, and I have divided into 2 different subnet, with one of the address as 200.1.2.0 and another subnet as 200.1.2.128. So how to find out the address ranges in this 2 subnet? So IP address of the subnet is 200.1.2.0. This is for first subnet, and for second subnet the IP address is 200.1.2.128. So total number of IP address would be 2 raised to 7 in the first subnet, because as we have seen, the number of bits used to refer the host would be 7 bits. So it would be 2 raised to 7. So I have totally 128 address. Now as we have seen, when the address is been configured, 2 of the address are reserved. One is the first address, that is network address, and the last address, that is the broadcast address, are not used or they are reserved for the network ID and broadcast address. So we will be having 128 minus 2, that is 126 usable address that can be assigned to the host. So the range of IP address would be ranging from 200.1.2. all zeros and 200.1.2. zeros and all ones. So I'll do the conversion of this values into decimal. That will be giving me the addresses ranging from 200.1.2.0 to 200.1.2.127 here, where you can find out the address ranging from 1 to 126 are used as usable addresses, and whereas the last address is used as the broadcast address. Similar way I can find out the second subnet, where my address is 200.1.2.128. So total number of IP address assigned in this host will also be address or host connected to this address or subnet would be 2 raised to 7, that is 128, and the number of hosts that can be configured would be also 128 dot minus 2, that is 126. So range of address would be 200.1.2.1. all zeros and 200.1.2.1 and all ones. So we have 200.1.2.128 and 200.1.2.255, and the range of addresses which can be assigned to my host would be ranging from 127 to 254, whereas the last address would be serving as a broadcast address, and this first address would be serving as my host this network ID or network address for this particular subnet. This is one example where we are considering a different IP address here. The address is 200.1.2.0. Now we have a problem here where I want to do a subnetting of 4 different subnet. So initially I'll be checking what sort of address it is, class A, B or C. So since 200, so I find it's a class C address. So I will be considering 24-bit. In case the address is a different one, then I will be considering that much bit as my net ID. So I have to find out what type of address is, and based upon that I have to define how much net ID would be there. How much bit should be considered as net ID and how much bit should be considered as host ID. So here, since it's class C, I'll be considering first 24 bit as net ID and the remaining 8 bit as my host ID. So in order to create 4 subnet, I will be requiring some 2 bits. So what I'll do is I'll borrow 2 of the bits from the host. So in altogether, my net ID would be 24 plus 2, that is 26 bit altogether as net ID, and 2 bits deducted from this 8 bit, that is 6 bit, would be used to represent the host ID. So here the borrowed bits are 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, that defines first subnet, second subnet, third subnet, and fourth subnet. So IP range addresses of this 4 subnets can be categorized as 200.1.2.00 initially with all zeros, that will define my first subnet, that is 200.1.2.0, and my second subnet would have addresses 200.1.2.001. So 01 again I'll be converting into decimal, that would be giving me 64. My third would be giving me address as 200.1.2.128, and my fourth subnet would give me the values 200.1.2.192. So my single network is converted into 4 different sub networks. So when I talk about the address range in this network, so initially I have 200.1.2.0, so 200.1.2.0, and my number of total hosts which are getting connected, host bits are 6. So I have host 2 raised to 6, that is the number of IP addresses which I can be used, or that can be used to assign to the host. So total number of hosts that can be configured as 64 minus 2, that defines the usable IP address that can be assigned to the host, since the first is network address and the last address would be used as a broadcast address. So range of address would be ranging from 200.1.2.000, and it goes till, I'll set this value as 00 and the remaining bits as 1. So that defines the first address and the last address of this particular subnet. So I do the conversion, I get values 200.1.2.0 and 200.1.2.63. So that defines my first subnet address. The last address is basically the broadcast address. Going for second subnet, again I will be doing the same thing. My address subnet address is 200.1.2.64. So I will be finding out the number of address getting connected as 2 raised to 6 is equal to 64. So I will be finding a number of address that can be used by the host, that is 64 minus 2, that is equal to 62. So range of IP address would be again 200.1.2.0 and all zeros, and 200.1.2.01 and all ones. So I'll do the conversion of this into decimal and I'll be getting the address range. So similar way I can do it for third subnet. Again I'll do the same way, because 6 bit as host and here also 6 bit as host, I get the range of address for third subnet and the range of address for the fourth subnet in a similar fashion. So this way easily I can do the subnetting based upon the need of or the number of hosts getting connected in the network. I can do subnetting. So here is one example. Now there is an organization which is having a class C address and they want to use this class C address into 5 different networks. So how to do that? So what I'll do is I'll take this address 216.21.5.0, and since it's a class C address, I will definitely have the subnet mask as 255.255.255.0, and number of networks needed here is 5. Now this 5 networks I have to calculate, so I'll do the conversion of this 5. Those 5 is represented as 101 in binary. So in order to represent 5, I require 3 bits. So this 3 bits I will be borrowing from the net ID. So I'll write the subnet mask here 255.255.255.0. So that is 1 ones, 1 ones, 1 ones and all zeros at the last. And you can see here I would be borrowing 3 bits from my host ID. and the remaining 5 bit would be used for host representation. So in all together I have total 24, 25, 26, 27 bits. So number of networks would be some 2 raised to number of ones. So 2 raised to 3 would give me 8 different networks. So it's possible only with 2 raised to 1s, 2s and 3s. So I cannot go exactly with 5 different networks, but I will have 8 different networks formed with this 3 bits. And the number of hosts which can be connected is 2 raised to number of zeros here. So number of zeros is 5. So I have 2 raised to 5, that is 32. And you can see here, since I told you every block has 2 reserved address, host address and network address and broadcast address. So it's minus 2 will give me 30. So each of this net would be connected with 30 hosts. And since the values are represented as ones, so I'll be finding out the number of subnet address and the valid address and the broadcast address for each of this networks. So as we have calculated here, how many networks that can be formed is 8 network because of this 3 bits. If I go for 2 bits, you can see here it is 2 raised to 2 will form only 4 networks. That is not sufficient here. So I'll go for 2 raised to 3, 8 networks. So here the first subnet address would be 216.21.5.0, and I would be incrementing into values of 32 because we can see here the total address would be 32 here. So I have 0 and here I have from 0 to 32 addresses would be 31. So the first address, valid address would be 216.21.5.1 and the last valid address is 216.21.5.30. Similar way the second subnet would be following this 31. So second address would be starting from 32 and again I would add another 32 to this. So 32 to 63. So again from there it is continuous 64. Again I'll add some 32 values to it, so it becomes 95. Similar way I would be calculating the subnet address, I would calculate the broadcast address, I can also calculate the valid address that can be assigned inside the block to the host. So here is another example of this. Here the company is granted an address 20170.64.0 since it's a class C address, and the company needs 6 subnet altogether. So in order to calculate 6 subnet, again I will be going in the powers of 2. So I'll say 2 raised to 3, again it gives me 8. So 8 subnets can be formed. So here similar way I'll be borrowing 3 bits from the net ID and the remaining bits would be used as a host ID. So you have total number of zeros is 5 here. So 5 bits for host ID and remaining 27 bits as the net ID. So number of subnets is 8 and the address ranges from initial address 20170.64.0, and since as you can see here 2 raised to 5 will give me 32. So the incremented value of addresses or block of address would be 32. So 0 to 31, then the next address would be 32 to 63. Next subnet would calculate again from 64 to, and it goes on, and the last 8 subnet would have the value from 224 to 255. So here there is another example. Here the company is granted an address of 181.56.00. Now it's known that it's a class B address because the value is 181, and you can see here the company needs 1000 subnets. So in order to create 1000 subnets, I have to again calculate in powers of 2. So I'll go for 2 raised to 9, that is not giving me 1000 values. So I'll go for 2 raised to 10, that gives me 1224 value. So 1224 means this shows that I have to borrow 10 bits in order to create this subnet. So class B has a subnet mask of 255.255.00. So here what I'll do is 255.255, then I'll be borrowing 10 bits from the host ID. So if I borrow 10 bits from the host ID, then remaining 6 bits can be used as a net ID. So my subnet mask would be 255, and since this is all 0, it will be 255, and I will be calculating this 2 raised to 7 plus 2 raised to 6, that gives me 192. So total number of subnets would be 1024, and the number of address in each subnet would be 2 raised to 6. So 2 raised to gives me 64. So here my subnet would be 181.56.00, and it goes on from 181.56.0 to 63. Then the next address would be starting from 255 to 64 to 255.127. So similar way, my 1024th subnet, different subnets can be formed with this particular class B address. So that is the end of this session. I hope so you have grasped the way how subnet mask can be used to divide a bigger network into smaller network. Thank you for watching this.